Welcome gamers, weebs, and nerds alike. 2025 is here, and while last year had some amazing JRPGs, with the likes of Metaphor, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Infinite Wealth, Persona 3 Reload, and more, and a bunch that had phenomenal gameplay, story, music, pretty much everything. This year looks to match it blow for blow, if not potentially exceed it, especially in the first half of this year. So in today's video, we are going over 10 of the best JRPGs slated to come out in 2025. Make sure to subscribe for more geek content, and without further ado, let's get into the list. Kicking off this list, we have Like a Dragon Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii. I think we can all agree this one's catching everyone by surprise with how fleshed out and just downright fun this game looks. Obviously, we know the Yakuza Like a Dragon franchise is known for its wackiness and being both over the top while also feeling very grounded and dramatic. I've played a little bit of Zero and I'm currently really enjoying Like a Dragon, which makes me even more excited for this spin-off. In this one, you play as the amnesiac Majima as he lands on a stranded beach and decides to become a pirate. And boy, does this game look like the pirate game we've been waiting for. You can customize your own ship, choose from over 100 different crew members to hire, have good naval combat, and even board enemy ships. Where Ubisoft failed, RGG is succeeding with flying colors. Not only is the naval combat looking exciting, but the ground action combat looks great too, with one style allowing you to summon different kinds of animals like birds and sharks. This looks like so much fun, and we can't wait to be sailing the 7 seas come February. Next up, we have Atelier Yumiya. We mentioned this in our last video, but it looks too good not to mention again. This is a brand new title from Koei Temco as part of the long-running Atelier franchise, and it looks absolutely ambitious. It looks like for now they are done with the Ryza trilogy, and for now they seem to be going in a more mature, darker story route with an intriguing new character in Yumiya. The gameplay looks fantastic with an improved version of the timing turn-based combat in Atelier Ryza 3, and it looks like you can swap whole teams in and out on the fly, making it really easy to adjust each combat encounter. Also, for the first time, you'll be able to build and customize your very own atelier however you want it. The open world looks vast and interesting to explore, and there's plenty of fun new ways to get around. The sidecast looks fun, and we're hoping they have some really good backstory, and all around, this game looks really fun, and it's going to be a great addition to the Atelier franchise, and a nice game to just chill and relax while also getting hit in the feels. Next up, we have Xenoblade Chronicles X. Finally, after many years of being stuck on the Wii U, we are finally getting an updated port to the Switch, and now all of the Xenoblade games are playable on one console. Xenoblade is a lot like other JRPG franchises in that while they share similarities like areas, races, money, etc., you don't have to have played other titles to play one of them. I've played a hefty chunk of Xenoblade 1 and 3, and I absolutely loved them. Now we get what some call the best in the franchise with what looks to be really fun exploration mechanics in Mechs, updated visuals and facial animations, and a bunch more. Sign me up! This looks to be a lot of fun and definitely more than a generic HD remaster. With an interesting plotline, fun gameplay mechanics, and outstanding music, this will be a must-play for sure. It is a little unfortunate that it comes out days within our last pick, Yumiya, though. Now we have Trails in the Sky First Remake. The Trails franchise is a very long-running franchise with its 12th game coming out later this year. I've always wanted to dive into these games as it supposedly has some amazing world building and writing, and while playing previous titles isn't necessary, it definitely helps and really expands on the story and lore. So when I heard they are doing a full-on remake of the very first game, they had my attention. This follows Estelle and Joshua, who aim to protect the world and its peace as bracers as they travel the Liberal Kingdom to solve various incidents. This looks like it'll have really good military and political intrigue. The game will be in full 3D and have full English voice acting to go along with the refined gameplay mechanics similar to the Final Fantasy VII Remake combat. Trails in the first remake will definitely be a good way for many of us to finally get into this beloved JRPG franchise. Next up, we have Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. This looks like it could be a really big step in the right direction for this franchise. The last game to come out in Rune Factory 5 got really middling reviews, and while some of them were fair to an extent, it's largely underrated. However, like other games on this list, it looks to be pretty ambitious and go in some new directions for the game. Everything looks like it has taken a big step up, especially the combat, which looks really fun and a lot more in depth. You can make a whole village now, which adds a ton of creativity options. The aesthetic is really cool as they go for a more traditional Japanese setting. The romance system looks to have improved with fully voiced scenarios, and there's dual protagonists, so you can play as who you'd like. The story looks to at least be serviceable, but the draw of these games is definitely the farming and house village building with some fun combat sprinkled in. As of right now, it's slated to come to Switch and PC, so if you need a break from building your atelier or leading a pirate crew on wacky adventures and want to settle down and farm, pick this one up as it comes out on May 30th. Now we have first Berserker Kazan. Well, this isn't technically a JRPG, it's as much of one as Expedition 33, which a lot of JRPG channels have on their lists, so I'm counting it. If you liked Code Vein or Souls-like games, this will definitely be right up your alley. It's based on the Dungeon Fighter Online universe, which has millions of players worldwide, where you can play as Kazan going on his legendary journey as the first Berserker. The boss fights look fun, the gameplay looks pretty dang good, it doesn't look clunky at all, especially once you get further in and start getting different weapon types. I'm a sucker for a good revenge story, and so this is right up my alley, and to top it off, there are many different weapons and skills to keep things new and fresh as you're enacting your revenge. Not to mention, I really dig the cel-shaded art style, so this is right up your alley and you don't have to wait too much longer as it's coming out in the stacked spring lineup on March 27th. Next up, we have 100 Line Last Defense Academy. This is definitely a more niche title as it comes from the developers of Daganronpa, but nonetheless, it looks like a good mystery survival game. If you've played the Daganronpa games, you probably have a good idea of what to expect when it comes to the story and all the twists, turns, and betrayal that this game will have in store. There's going to be a lot of very important decisions that lead to a multitude of different endings, which will lead to a lot of replayability. This basically follows the player character and 14 others as they are drafted into the Special Defense Unit and tasked with keeping the school safe for 100 days. The combat is very RTS grid based, and there'll be plenty of time to explore school grounds, ruins outside the school, and interact with your teammates. This will be a good RTS with an interesting story and pretty addictive gameplay loop once you get into it, and of course it comes out in spring on April 23rd. Starting to round out this list, we have Pokemon Legends ZA. This is probably the most iffy one on this list, as there's a good chance it doesn't even come out this year, especially since we haven't heard anything since its announcement. But I think we're going to be hearing something about it on the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. After the critical and fan reception failure that was Scarlet and Violet, and with Palworld absolutely dominating the market right now, Game Freak desperately needs a W, and this game definitely has a great chance to. With the updated hardware of the Switch 2, we could see some absolutely beautiful environments and textures. I mean, hell, we've seen some amazing things done on the Switch, so it's entirely possible. We are getting Mega Evolutions back, which will be exciting as they are one of the coolest ideas they've had in a while. And Pokemon Legends Arceus is actually pretty fun, so if they just expand on it and actually put some care into the game, Pokemon definitely could be back to heading in the right direction. So let's hope Game Freak and Nintendo actually listen and make a good game. Speaking of niche titles, next we have Neverness to Everness. Now this one just oozes style, kind of feeling like Sleeping Dogs meets Persona 5 Strikers meets Honkai Star Rail. This is an urban open world action game, and the best part is, this will be free to play. You play as an appraiser that explores the world and fights hostile forces as they advance through the story. Pretty straightforward, but the freedom this game allows more than makes up for it. There are multiple different cars, the subway, you can customize your own apartment, and then multiple different world events and random enemy encounters. While there isn't a whole lot to do in this game story-wise, it does look really pretty, and the action looks really fleshed out and fluid. This game looks like it'll be a ton of fun to play, and it'll definitely be great to bounce in and out of every now and then while you're building your ateliers and farms and all the other stuff that's coming out this year. Last but definitely not least, we have Claire Obscure Expedition 33. This was on our last list, but we got a new deep dive into the game at the Xbox Developer Direct and even got a release date, and now it's certain that I, as well as many others, are extremely excited for this. This game looks to really push the turn-based action combat in a very new and exciting direction with its timing and parry elements. The voice acting sounds stellar, the music is amazing, and the art style is just downright gorgeous to look at. The characters, the enemies, the action spells, the environments, this just gushes style, and the fact that it's the studio's first game ever is mind-boggling. We also got a look at the traversal system as we fly around or sail through the water on our big plushy friend, and a deeper look into the dark, surreal story where the cast attempts to stop the Paintress's circle of death, as everyone over the age she writes dies. This has the potential to be up there for Game of the Year, and we can't wait for this exciting game as it adds to the already stacked spring lineup on April 25th. That wraps up our list for the best JRPGs coming out this year. There are a lot of games we didn't cover, so let us know in the comments what games you're looking forward to this year. If you liked the video, make sure you like and share it. That helps us out a lot. Check us out on Twitch and TikTok so it's staying around. And until the next video, keep on geeking on.